entrepreneurs, and welcome back. In today's session, I will talk about storytelling, and I'm going to show you some really powerful tools that you can use to tell a more compelling and memorable story about your startup. You might have heard that entrepreneurs are always pitching, and it's really true. From the moment you decide to be an entrepreneur, you're always trying to move your startup forward. And in order to effectively do so, you need the help from your friends, from your family members, and from other people in your entrepreneurial ecosystem. But all those people will only really be able to help you if you have a good story around your startup. Because people need to remember what you're working on in order to basically tell that story to other people that might be interested in buying your product or referring you to other businesses that could potentially help you out. So having a short, concise, and memorable story that people will be able to tell to other people is really key. The reason why storytelling is so powerful is because it is the tool that we have used through thousands of generations as human beings. Sitting around the campfire back in the Stone Age, storytelling was the way we communicated with our peers. It was the way that the elderly people were able to pass on best practices on how to use different tools, where to hunt, where to find berries, what to look out for, what to be careful with. So storytelling is a very effective way to communicate to other human beings so that they will remember and store your pitch in their long-term memory, so they will never forget, and they will be able to tell the story to other people that might be interested in hearing it. So the first exercise I'd like you to do today is essentially to figure out a compelling, memorable, interesting story that you can tell about the product or service that you're building. I would like you right now to take 10 minutes to think about a story and practice that. That is sort of a story that explains the concept of your entire startup. And I strongly suggest you only pick like one specific use case. So try to get into the mindset of the user and try to explain why the problem that you're solving is a really important problem. How is that problem affecting people's lives? Just take one example of a user who is currently being affected by this problem. For example, a senior citizen living in a nursing home who is starting to have signs of Alzheimer's and is now no longer able to remember how to put on his or her clothes, aren't remembering how to call his or her family, and sort of how this problem is affecting that person's life. Right? So explain the problem, and so make us care about this pain point you're trying to address. I'm sure you're really passionate about the problem you're solving. You need to tell a story that makes us care about that problem too. Right? So tell a story that makes us realize how important this problem is and how your product or service is somehow solving this problem. Only highlight the key features of your product, because in a short story, people won't be able to remember a whole lot of details. So just focus on explaining the pain point so people can relate to that pain point at an emotional level, and then explain the key features of your product and how that's solving it. The story should not be longer than 2-3 minutes, because that's really all that people will be able to remember anyway. So right now, sit down with your team, spend 10-15 minutes on creating a cool story, and then share that with at least 3 other teams. So that will be the first exercise of today. Create a compelling story around your startup and share it with your team members, and then I'll see you back here for the next exercise. Hello again. Okay, I hope that exercise was really useful. I hope you were able to come up with a clear, concise, and memorable, powerful story that tells the vision of your company, the problem you're solving and how you're solving it in a short format that people will be able to retell, so they can help basically promote the vision of your company and make people understand all the great things you're trying to accomplish. The next exercise is sort of a different way of telling your story. Sometimes when you find yourself in a networking event, maybe you're talking to a venture capitalist, an investor who could potentially invest in your business, you want to make sure that you have what we call an opening sentence. A single sentence that summarizes the problem you're solving, how you're solving it, and what is unique about your product or service or about your company. And what we call the magic sauce. You want to have this opening sentence memorized and practiced so that no matter what time in the middle of the night somebody comes and wakes you up and asks you what you're doing, you will have that opening sentence to start your pitch. Right? Sometimes when we get really nervous, we start blabbling on and we're not very focused. And that's not great if you're in a setting where you have basically 30 seconds to impress this venture capitalist and to potentially invest in your business. You want to make sure that you have this single sentence well rehearsed so that you can just spit it out and that the other person will immediately understand what you're doing. In order to create such an opening sentence, Adeo Ressi, who's the founder of Founders Institute, which is an organization that helps entrepreneurs around the world, he has come up with this Mad Libs model, essentially a script that you can fill out with details about your own startup, and then you will have this single sentence that summarizes the problem you're solving, how you're solving it, and the magic sauce, the secret sauce that's part of setting you apart as a business. So I'm gonna have Adeo actually introduce this tool to you right now. You're gonna see a 5-minute video where Adeo Ressi, who has seen thousands of different pitches, so he really knows what he's talking about. He will introduce this tool, so I would like you to right now grab a pen and paper and be ready to create the opening sentence for your startup. Good luck.
Hi there. I'm here to talk to you today about how to pitch your business in a way that's memorable. And I'm going to give you a technique that I call Mad Libs for pitching. So every good pitch, whether it's an elevator pitch, a 3-minute pitch at an angel forum, or even a 20-minute pitch at an investor, starts with a strong opening sentence. And I can't stress to you how important getting this opening sentence right is. So let's take a look at a model, essentially a Mad Libs model. My company, insert your company name, is developing a defined offering to help a target audience solve a problem with secret sauce. Sounds easy enough, right? Well, it's not. Most entrepreneurs mess this simple exercise up. So let's take a look at an example. My company, Socialista, is developing a social utility to help female consumers find deals online faster. Not so bad, not great. Let's look at ways to improve it. So we're going to start with the offering. Now, the first thing you need to do with an offering is be incredibly specific about what you're building. So it's not a social utility because that could be a power company for all I know. It's an e-commerce site, right? That's a much clearer way of saying what you're making. You want to avoid buzzwords. I've actually heard someone say mobile social CRM. It's an iPhone application, right? You don't need to litter your pitch with buzzwords. And you want to avoid adjectives. Don't say something like revolutionary service. Say what it is, back-end software. You don't need to embellish what you make, just say what it is. So next, let's take a look at the audience. Rather than saying female consumers, which is a type of demographic, try and be more specific, such as new parents who are female, or even 18 to 25-year-old female parents. But the more specific you are, the better it is, the more it makes you look like you understand your business. You want to specify your market. So rather than saying something really broad and undefined like artists and musicians, which could include jugglers for all I know, you want to say unsigned alternative and electronic bands, for example. And last but not least, you want to clarify the buyer, the individual, especially if you're working in B2B markets. So don't say large businesses, because first of all, I don't even know what that is. Is it a Walmart store, Walmart the company, IBM? I just don't know. Say something like purchasing managers at multinational companies. So this actually specifies who in the business will be buying your product or service. So now my company, Socialista, is developing an e-commerce site to help new parents who are female find deals online faster. It's a little bit more specific, but it still can be improved. So let's take a look at the problem. You want to make sure that the audience can relate or understand what the problem is that you're trying to solve, and especially what you're building. So a lot of times people can be very vague here. Find deals online. Well, I can find deals online right now with Google. So how are you better than that? You also want to hint at a revenue model, because just finding a deal online doesn't mean anything. You need to theoretically have some sort of hand in that deal to make money. And last but not least, don't forget the secret sauce. And this is the way that your business either differentiates itself from the competition or hooks up with the consumer in such a way that makes it memorable. So how does this come out now? My company, Socialista, is developing an e-commerce site to help new parents who are female shop for hip baby products at wholesale prices with automated ordering of diapers and other staples. So the shop for hip baby products at wholesale prices, that's a cool problem statement, right? You don't associate hip products with cheap prices. And in terms of the secret sauce, this idea of automated ordering, yeah, that's something that keeps parents coming back because they're really busy. And if the diapers come every month instead of them having to go online and ordering them, that keeps a brand affiliation going, etc. So you can try this yourself. Again, my company, insert your company name, is developing a defined offering to help a target audience solve a problem with secret sauce. Again, sounds easy enough, but it might be harder for you. Good luck with your efforts, and I hope you get your opening sentence right. Thank you.
Okay, now you've heard a little bit of details from Adeo Ressi on how to create the Mad Libs model for your startup. So the next exercise is now to actually do this. You will have 10 minutes to sit down with your team and to create the script for your opening sentence. The single sentence that will effectively communicate what you're doing and in a way that makes it very clear to any type of investor, any potential partner, any potential new employee, so they quickly understand what your startup is all about. Take 10 minutes, create the script, and then share it with the rest of the class. Well done. Now you have a short, compelling story that you can use whenever you need to tell other people about your company. This story will make it easy for your friends and family members to tell the story about your company to their friends and family and business connections. It is so powerful to have this story that people can retell, and you will find that once you have that tool in your toolbox, it becomes a lot more fun to talk about your company. You have also created the opening sentence for your startup pitch. And this will prove to be extremely useful whenever you talk to investors or potential business partners or potential new hires, that in just that single sentence, you have really communicated what the problem is you're solving, how you're solving it, and how you're standing out, the secret sauce of your company. I strongly recommend that you spend some time practicing this opening sentence. So no matter what situation you find yourself in, and no matter how nervous you get, you will still be able to sort of spit out this opening sentence. And just by having this one sentence you can start out with, you're off to a good start. And that will help calm your nerves and make you feel better about the presentation. So practice your opening sentence and practice your story. The last thing we're going to do today is create a basically an explainer video that you can use on your website. I know maybe you haven't created a website yet, and we're going to talk about landing page tools in another session. A landing page is essentially a simple website that you use to test some of the core elements of your startup idea. So a landing page doesn't have a whole lot of different elements to it. It just has a quick description of your product and service, and then it has a call to action. A call to action is where you ask people to either sign up for your newsletter, it might be that you're trying to make them buy your product, or maybe just submit their email if they're interested in your product. You can use an explainer video to tell the whole story around your company in a more interesting way than you can use in just describing your product using text and pictures. This is a technique that Drew Houston used when he was launching Dropbox. You might remember this from the last session when I talked about lean startup techniques, that a powerful technique in terms of lean startup, if you can pre-sell the product before you build it. And essentially what you're trying to do, you're trying to make sure that people like the product and they want it before you spend a lot of time building it. So Drew Houston put together a cool little explainer video that explained the key functions in Dropbox. Then he put that out to a hacker community and he got 70,000 people to sign up in one day. And that was a lot of proof for him that people really wanted this product, and then he ended up going ahead and built it afterwards. Creating these little explainer videos is actually not that hard. So the rest of the time today, you will be essentially working on creating a cool explainer video for your startup project. It is important that you have some kind of storyline that explains the core elements of your business, so you can start thinking about that now. And then essentially you put it together using these animated characters in a tool called Powtoon. So Powtoon is a very cool video creation tool where you don't need any coding skills, you don't need to be a graphic designer. You can essentially drag and drop these different cartoon characters and different elements into a video, add some text, you can add some music and add some audio, and create a really cool, powerful video that explains what your product is all about. Then you can send this video out to friends and family and potential business partners, potential customers, and get some really useful feedback. So I wanted to show you a couple of examples of great explainer videos, and then I'm just going to summarize and how you can actually get started on this. So try to enjoy these few examples of how other companies are using explainer videos to tell the world about the product they're offering.
You've been there. You're about to buy lunch and realize your wallet is in your other pants. Or maybe you left your keys at home. The problem is organization. You need one place for everything, like a magic pocket. Putting something in the magic pocket means it's always there, no matter what you wear or where you are. The same thing is true for computers. If you have more than one, keeping track of all of your files can be a pain. Solving this problem is one of the big ideas behind Dropbox. It's like a magic pocket, a single, secure place for all of your stuff. Let's meet Josh, who is preparing for a big trip to Africa. Right now, all of his trip info is spread across his laptop, desktop, and phone. He needs to consolidate it all and is tired of having to email files to himself or move them around with a USB drive. Then he found Dropbox, which creates a new kind of folder on his computers. These folders work hard to be exactly alike, even across Macs and PCs. By adding his itinerary to his laptop Dropbox, he can be sure the same file will show up in his desktop Dropbox and even on his phone. The same thing happens when he saves a document in a Dropbox folder. The document gets updated across all of his Dropboxes.
Groupon is an easy way to get huge discounts while discovering fun local activities in over 50 cities across the US and Canada. From restaurants, theaters, spas, stores, and special events, we work with the best local businesses to offer unbeatable discounts you can't find anywhere else. Using Groupon is easy. Sign up for daily alerts and the local deal will be emailed to you each morning. Purchase the deals you like and we'll send you a voucher you can print and use like cash. Sign up today and experience the very best of your city at 50 to 90% off.
Using Powtoon.
All right, I hope you found these examples really useful. And now it's time for you to create your own explainer video. What you have to do is go to powtoon.com and create a free account and then use some of the free templates to essentially create the first version of your explainer video. I suggest that you try to limit the video to just 1 or 2 minutes. Don't make it any longer than that because that kind of defeats the purpose. The purpose is that you in a very short amount of time is just able to explain the core concept of your business so people get it. And this video you will later on be able to put on your website so that people, when they come to your website, can quickly understand your product and maybe sign up to become a customer. So think about the storyline that you want to use for your video. That's sometimes easier to just do using pen and paper. So you sort of have a rough sketch of the different elements. What is it that you want to communicate? What is the core story of your video? What is the problem you're solving? How is this problem affecting people's lives? How is your solution solving that problem for people? And why is your solution the best one in the market for people? So create that little storyline and then go to powtoon.com, create a free account. Make sure to use the free templates and the free characters. Otherwise you won't be able to export it to YouTube later on. But I hope you'll have a lot of fun playing around with this tool. If you need some extra instructions, it's relatively intuitive and there are a lot of explainer videos on Powtoon as well. But if you need some extra instructions, I've included in the links session here under Module 6 an explainer video from Justin where he talks about the different elements on how to create these videos. I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. So best of luck with it, and please send those cool videos to me. I would love to check them out. See you next time.